There's something afoot in the riding of Brampton Centre, a feeling that the status quo simply won't do.
I know we need a change. Definitely we need a change.
This Toronto suburb's already seen a lot of change. The population here has almost doubled in the last decade. It's been Liberal for years, but in 2011, the old riding of Brampton Centre went Conservative. Balgosal won by just over 500 votes last election, and most are expecting another tough fight this time.
Nice meeting, sir. Thank you for your support.
Yes, Liberal Ramesh Sangha, an immigration lawyer, is ready to give Canada's Minister of Sport a run for his money.
Come on. And you are always doing a great job. Thank you very much.
All right.
Running for the NDP is retired principal and longtime anti-poverty advocate Rosemary Keenan.
So let's walk up and see if there's anybody home.
Small business owner Sal Botcher is selling the Green Party platform.
It is an important issue for them to feel that their representative in Ottawa is speaking for them and not speaking only to them.
And there's Marxist-Leninist Frank Kilelli, a high school teacher ready to offer up a lesson or two on Canadian communism.
We are Canadian Marxists. We're not puppets of Russia.
Still, Conservative Balgosal is clearly the man to beat. Not only does he have a powerful head start as the incumbent for at least half of this newly redrawn riding, but as Stephen Harper's federal Minister of Sport, he brings high profile as well.
When you talk to constituents now, what do they tell you the main issues, the main concerns are for them in the riding?
Well, biggest thing again is jobs and economy, and they're quite happy, and they're very happy that what we have done, Prime Minister Harper and Conservatives have done in the last 4 years. We have a strong economy, and we have really amazing jobs growth, and they're happy. And again, they're concerned about jobs and economy.
Mm-hmm. So if the result is that good, though, why is there concern? What are they telling you, though?
Well, again, they want to keep us going in the same direction what we are doing, and also, I mean, a lot of people are concerned about NDP and Liberals, what they're going to do to the country, high taxes, and cancel some. Biggest concern I hear from especially families and parents is, Justin Trudeau promises to cut all those UCC benefits. That's the biggest concern.
What did you make of that check?
Sometimes it may not be enough to the truth. It might just be helpful to get something
How
more.
many kids do you guys have?
Just one, yes. It's helpful. Honestly, I would think that it could be a bit higher.
Making rich, very rich, is not a criteria to see that economy is running very good.
Running for Team Trudeau is immigration lawyer Ramesh Sangha. The Conservatives have managed to win the ethnic vote. Would you agree? Can the Liberals win it back?
I do agree with you. Last time they win it because people were not happy with the Liberals. Liberals lost the touch with the general public at large here, common people here, those who are living at the grassroots level. They lost the touch. That's why people just shifted to the Conservative side.
But now he says another shift is taking place.
Because, people are not happy with their economic situation, which is today's situation it is there. People are running hand to mouth. People are not able to pull on their bills every month. People are doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs. In the community, just go around. I have seen it, people. I've gone door to door. I've talked to the people, listened to them, their issues. People say they are running very hard life now. People are not happy with this government.
And he says that economic struggle is certainly magnified for new immigrants. He remembers his first years in Canada well.
But when I came here, at that time was same situation. 93, they were out and Liberals were in. And Liberals again changed it. But now from last 10 years, people are feeling that Canadian values are gone. Division, divide the communities and rule it. It's not the way. You have to make everyone as one Canada. Live them, get the communities together. Don't divide them. Give them power, community power.
Balgosal says he too can personally relate to the immigrant experience.
Hello, ji, ki hal chal? Sat Sri Akal ji, ki hal chal ji? Theek thak.
What's your own immigrant story? I know you came to Canada in 1981.
1981.
Right? So you came from
Well, from India to BC as an immigrant. Me and my wife, we got married and went to college here, studied, and 82 was really tough times in BC. Went to Calgary looking for a job, and then end up in Ontario in 83 in Brampton. I've been in Brampton since 1983. Raised 3 kids, born and raised here in Brampton, and Brampton's been home. And it's most beautiful city in the country.
Why did you emigrate? Do you remember? And do you remember the moment you first stepped foot in this country, and what was that experience like? Do you remember that?
Well, it was cold, in February. Vancouver was okay, but when I went to Canal and Prince George, it was cold. And I was still a student in India. I just finished my BSc degree, and went to college in Prince George in 1981. 31 days of January 82, it snowed every day in Prince George. We had 11 feet and 9 inches snow, so that was my first winter experience.
Still, critics say the Conservative government changes to immigration policy have left many immigrant families in the cold. And Gosel's recent comments to the Toronto Star about Syrian refugees could have landed him in hot water had he not clarified his position.
You've said that some people don't want Syrian migrants in this riding. People are telling you that?
No, they don't. They're not saying that they don't want Syrian migrants in this riding. They want, what Harper is saying, that we need to do humanitarian help on the ground. We'll work with the agencies, and we need to do the security checks. Everybody agrees with Harper's approach that we have to do, due diligence, and work with agencies.
Limiting the number of Syrian migrants coming to Canada, citing security concerns, is one thing. But justifying a massive backlog on family reunification because of what Gosel calls sham marriages is another. This lady emigrated here from India in 2009 and understands the heartache that backlogs create. She was sponsored by her husband, a process that she says took about 6 months way back then.
I heard that has taken around 1 year now.
Sometimes a year and a half.
Yes, it does take that long.
Here in Brampton Center, almost half of the riding's residents are immigrants. Now, most are from India, and many have family members that they've been desperately trying to bring to Canada from overseas. So immigration issues are a big deal here.
Looking at the spousal applications, the time periods have jumped drastically. So yes, if the time periods are jumping, there's a proof the system's not working.
And let's talk about that. Spousal applications, what's happened? It used to take how many months to bring a spouse over, and now what's the reality?
If we go back 10 years, it used to take 3 to 6 months from New Delhi, and now it's taking 18 months, which is now, it's a clear example there are no resources to process these.
This immigration consultant says sham marriages are not the problem, but a lack of resources to process and check legitimate applications is. And there's another issue. Bill C-24, he says, unfairly penalizes truck drivers who are constantly crossing into the United States and may not accumulate the time they need to stay Canadian.
So what's the net effect of this then? What could happen to these truck drivers?
They'll never be Canadian citizens. They'll never become Canadian citizens if they continue to drive across the border for more than 24 hours. So that's one core issue. Other core issue is the intent to reside in Canada. Now, this has actually created 2 classes of citizens as compared to, talking about terrorism. Now, the people who are born in Canada, they're free to live anywhere in the world. Wayne Gretzky, living outside of Canada. Pamela Anderson, living outside of Canada. No problem with them. But if somebody becomes a citizen now and they don't reside in Canada, their citizenship can be revoked.
The Conservatives put a moratorium on immigration applications in 2011 to clear an existing backlog and introduced what were meant to be temporary super visas, allowing family members up to a 2-year stay. But the backlog still exists, a problem the Liberals are vowing to fix. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau was recently in the riding, promising, among other things, a doubling of family reunification applications, from 5,000 to 10,000 a year.
Justin Trudeau announced that he's going to double the number of applications. That doesn't help. Doubling the number of applications doesn't help because you can only process certain amount of applications. If Canada can take only 250,000 immigrants, and we say we're going to take 500,000 applications, that's smoke mirrors.
Gosel doubts the Liberal plan would offer the resources needed to ease the backlog. But Sangha says the Liberal immigration plan will work. And he says the Liberals will help the middle class on the other big issue plaguing the community, jobs and the economy.
People are not happy with this government because policies are such, prices are going high, house prices. It's only due to the interest rate people are able to buy the houses. Just it looks like that economy is very good. Economy is just fragile. He himself said, just Harper himself agreed during the debate that we are running into the recession.
Well, now the Conservatives say it's not a recession. Only part of the economy is struggling.
Technical recession. Is it technically is we are in recession, but always recession has been looming on our head from last 8 years.
But now there's a surplus.
Surplus.
How bad can
How
things
surplus
be?
it is? Phony surplus. Got the money from here, there, or all over, and put it into the account to show that it is a surplus.
Sangha believes voters won't be fooled by that kind of clever accounting, and it's clear voters have frustrations as well.
What are you selling?
Nothing. Myself.
How much you business?
I'm your Member of Parliament and Conservative candidate for Prime Minister Harper.
So you were a member of Harper's.
I'm currently Member of Parliament and also I'm Canada's Sports Minister as well.
Happy with Harper, are you?
I'm very happy. Great leader, great policies, and I enjoy.
As well as Canada under Harper hasn't done as well as it should have.
No, we've done very well under the circumstances. The way the economy, like when you look at the world economy, when you look at U.S., Europe, and we sustained well, and we're Canada's strong country.
Look at oil, how bad oil went.
Oh, oil's one part of the economy.
Yeah,
it's not,
how many billions of dollars? It's about 30.
We haven't, government
How many
haven't,
billions and
government
billions
haven't,
of dollars?
it's all private money. Government hasn't paid any money to that. Have a nice day.
Yeah. You too. God bless.
Can I ask you about that? What was
Sure.
he's not happy with Canada's dependency on
oil.
So what, I mean, obviously you're not going to convince that constituent. He wants to
No, they can
vote
think
for the
about it.
Liberals.
Yeah, think about it. And
Didn't he say he's voting for the Liberals?
no, he said we're Liberals, and
Yeah.
that's great, fine. But then they said, is Canada better under Harper or worse? I said, when you look at the world economy, when you look at what USA and Europe went through, Canada sustained well, and we're better off. Economy is better. And he said, it's about oil. They haven't done nothing for Ontario. I said, who bailed out the auto industry when it was needed?
Yeah.
And it was Harper government. And they said because they followed U.S. But Canada has to work on their own.
So how do you convince someone like that who feels that life under a decade of Conservative rule is not better, essentially?
Oh, you cannot convince everybody, and then you can try talking to them. And people who are committed Conservatives, they always be committed Conservatives. People who are committed Liberals, they will be committed Liberals.
Right.
NDP, same thing. And it's the people who are undecided and who look at, what's better. Are we better under Harper?
So you say we are.
We are.
And I look at something like family income splitting, okay, a flyer that obviously your team's put together. Not everyone benefits from that.
Family income splitting is geared towards middle and low income families because there's a limit. You can only split up to $50,000 or $2,000 worth of tax credit. So that helps not high end, low end, and middle class families.
But that was not this constituent's experience, who says she's both retired and lower income.
Whosoever is offering income splitting, know your rights and know who is included.
So were you fooled by some of that?
Well, yes, because I told my accountant, I said, my husband and I were going to do income splitting. He said,
you don't qualify.
Oh, you're not qualified there. I said, what are you talking about? They talk about income splitting for seniors. Do you work 90,000, earn 90,000? Do you earn 60 and 70,000? I said, no, it's not for you, dear.
Local NDP candidate Rosemary Keenan says it's clear more and more Canadians are falling behind.
What about middle class? Well, I'm slipping below. I'm not in the middle class any longer. What are we going to do for people who are slipping below the middle class? In Brampton, that's especially significant. We have 40 to 45% of our neighborhoods low income or very low income. So average, ordinary middle class families are seeing the challenges of affordability of absolutely everything. And the jobs out there, they're not paying well enough to support a family. They're low wage, short term, and not sustainable. So we have to change a lot of things around. We've got to boost our economy and get those opportunities out there.
The Liberals poke holes in the NDP platform, saying it delays much-needed job creation for the sake of balancing the books.
I don't see that the Liberal plan I don't see that their accusation is, they don't have grounds to stand on. Ours is a long-term strategic investment. That's what it's all about. So that's where we're at in terms of job creation.
How do you differentiate yourself from the Liberals, though? Because they've got a massive infrastructure investment, and they're saying we're creating these jobs now. So when someone at the door would ask you that, you'd reply how?
I don't get that question at the door. What I get at the door is I can't make ends meet anymore. I have to go to a food bank. I had a good job. There were cutbacks in my business. So I think one of the most important things for the NDP is working with municipalities. So since Liberal and Conservative governments over the last 20-25 years, the services for local communities have been downloaded 80% to the municipalities and only 8% of the funding. We need to invest in local infrastructure. Affordable housing is huge. Here in Peel, we have a fair share task force. We have a huge wait list of people waiting for affordable housing. Seniors are one of the ones dropping below the poverty line because of that issue. We need to invest in local infrastructure, transportation. We need to make sure that these investments there's a fair allocation of federal funding, transfer payments to the cities to make sure we have all of those supports in place for local communities. That's how we build the base and move forward.
But as Keenan goes door to door meeting voters, she also hears this.
I have one problem with the NDP.
Mm-hmm.
When they were in government in Ontario,
mm-hmm.
it cost me 21 days of pay with Ray days.
Yes, I remember that time.
And a lot of people are still very bitter over that. Right now, I'm very undecided who I'm going to vote for.
Right.
There's so many issues nowadays running, what's good for Canada, what's good for here. That's the problem. I'm very undecided.
NDP support is slipping in both Ontario and Quebec, provinces key to the party if they have any chance of forming government. The party's now rolling out major attack ads against Justin Trudeau.
You wouldn't really support attack ads?
No, I don't think, I think it turns people off, people are, and it doesn't tell you anything,
Mm-hmm.
There's no information there. Now,
but if the NDP does go ahead and release those, though, would you be at odds, or how?
I wouldn't, because I think that at the national level, they're doing a tremendous job. It's been a good, solid campaign so far.
But the NDP has positioned itself somewhat more to the middle of the political spectrum, right? It's the Liberals that are now on the far left promising far more money, willing to run deficits. Has that been detrimental to NDP support, do you think? Because the party has fallen third nationally now in the polls.
Yeah, no, not at all detrimental. I mean, you've heard Tom Mulcair say, and I'll say again too, that the NDP has the best record for balancing budgets. When Tommy Douglas was in power way back and Depression years, and the country was in a deficit due to previous Liberal governments, it was Tommy Douglas that got us on our feet. And he balanced his budgets, I believe it was 17 in a row, and he also brought in health care. He brought in pension plans, he brought in workers' bargaining rights, and those are the things that we stand on today. He's given us such a good, solid platform, and that's what the NDP is all about.
But as you know, here in Ontario, it's Bob Rae's government and the Rae days that most people remember. Not such a great experience, most would say.
That's true, at the provincial level. And of course, he turned out to be a Liberal, so we don't worry too much about that issue.
But let me ask you about that, because some people look at Mr. Mulcair, who used to be a Liberal as well, in Quebec, and they say that he's an opportunist because he's done the same thing. He's switched parties. How do you respond to that?
On the contrary, I think Tom Mulcair has a proven record. He stood in Quebec. He was a good representative for his community, and he showed principle. And when he, for example, was environment minister, he stepped down because the government was insisting on going ahead with taking a national park area and converting it for development. So he's a man who stands for his principles, and you've heard him talk about his family, his large family, and how they all look out for each other. That's what the NDP is all about.
While the NDP's main challenge may be stopping any flight in voter support in both Ontario and Quebec, the Greens' challenge is building it.
How do you convince voters to go green?
Well, building anything takes time, so you don't make a 30% jump overnight, no matter how many doors you knock on. But I find that if you go out there and you speak to people honestly, and you just talk about the ideas in a straightforward way and don't use talking points, people listen. People, when somebody wants to hear a new solution to a problem, they're all ears.
And he says the Green Party has the solution.
Are we positioned well for the future?
Exactly.
And are we?
I don't think that we are, because we've cut corporate taxes and tried to ride that, and I think we're seeing that running out of steam. And what we haven't done is made any investment in the products and technologies that the world is going to want to buy from us in years coming. I mean, you've seen the G7 leaders commit to ending the use of fossil fuels. Now, if you commit to something like that, you're going to need a lot of technology to replace the old fossil fuel technology. And where are you buying it from? Who's selling it to you? That should be us that's selling it to you. Right now, I don't see any really serious investment in making sure that we're the people selling that. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I don't see a strategy being put in place that's going to put us in that position in future.
But I think making green technological investments is part of the Liberal plank as well.
Sure. They borrowed that one,
The Conservatives also have some infrastructure investment going.
They have some infrastructure investment. It's a lot to do with roads, and we'll build you, an arena and whatnot. It's not forward-thinking infrastructure. That's the thing. When you use a term like infrastructure, that can mean a lot of different things, and that's why there needs to be some clarification. Where are you going with this? What are the priorities? Is it transit, for example? Is it clean energy generation? Or are we looking just at, we filled some potholes? I mean, you can fill a lot of potholes, but that's not a long-term economic solution to some of our problems.
Doesn't investing in green technologies, though, take time? And isn't what people are wanting now jobs now?
It doesn't take that much time when you already have companies out there that are trying to innovate with these technologies. And when you have, let's say, a startup company that maybe hasn't found the global market for its product yet, that it's going to find in a few years, it still needs workers now, and it needs knowledge workers now, and that's something we have a lot of. So no, you can create jobs immediately if you put the investment in and put the priority on these things.
Some people, when we've canvassed with some of the candidates through the neighborhood, say that the Harper Conservatives put all their eggs into that one basket, the big oil basket.
Yep.
And we're now seeing, to our detriment, the net effect of that. And that is no growth or low growth, not enough jobs. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel bad for the people in Alberta who have been riding a roller coaster with the oil prices. You know, when the prices go up, companies want to invest there and they want to build new extraction and capacity there. And then when the prices drop, suddenly it's, that doesn't look so good to us. That's really hard in your daily life if you think you have what looks like a very well-paying and secure job, and then suddenly, maybe it's not going to be there next year. We're going to have to do a lot of layoffs, you know.
But similarly, you don't want to put all your eggs in the green technology basket either. So talk to us about diversifying and what's the wider plan.
Well, the nice thing with green technology is it's more than one basket, right? Oil is a fuel source that if you stop using it, it doesn't have some other purpose that we can really get out of it. Green technology covers every sector. It covers the transportation sector. It covers energy generation, which is huge and is one of the limiting factors in our society right now is power generation. But it also covers daily life, like when I'm going and buying products, my groceries, my clothing or whatever, how much waste is being generated? Are we able to create these things in a sustainable way? So there are many sub-markets. It's an idea that cuts across every industry.
When it comes to fresh new ideas, Frank Kaleli, local candidate for the Marxist-Leninist Party, says he has all the parties beat. He sees a huge opportunity in voter apathy and offers a simple solution.
They don't trust the mechanism. the institution. So we're saying we need something new, something fresh. And it's only the Marxist-Leninist Party of Canada that's actually putting that forth.
So what do you propose?
That is exactly what I'm proposing, is that you need a mechanism where people select and elect their candidates from their neighborhoods, from their workplace, from their education centers. After all, isn't it better to actually select someone from your workplace who you know he or she's going to bat for you?
Right. So you're selling Marxist-Leninist as the ultimate grassroots party then, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about on policy, economic policy? What would you like to see?
Well, economic policy, I think we should rescind NAFTA. We should rescind all these trade agreements that really has been detrimental to our economy. I mean, look at, just ask the steel workers. U.S. Steel buys out Stelco, comes and lays off workers. You have a situation with Caterpillar. They're giving so much money.
So the more global this economy, world economy becomes, the worse it is?
Well, ask workers, not only Canada, but around the world.
If you don't engage in trade globally, how do you stimulate the economy? Who do you trade with?
Well, you can.
Who buys the product?
Well, you can stimulate the economy within your country itself, but I mean, the whole thing is you can have trade for mutual benefit, not to have foreign monopolies come here, wreck our economies, and then go somewhere else.
With less than 3 weeks left in this election, Balgosal hopes he doesn't have to go anywhere else but back to Ottawa.
Would you be happy to return as Minister of Sport, or are you thinking of another portfolio?
No, my job is to get re-elected. You know, I mean, that's as a member of Parliament. And it's been great working with Prime Minister Harper, great leader. You know, I admire him, the way he conducts business, the way he, you know, runs the country. And my job is to get elected as a member of Parliament, and it's Prime Minister who decides.
But first, voters will have to decide who they want to hold power. And for many, as policies, promises, and party tactics get more complicated, it's not just about choosing between status quo or change, but choosing who will best deliver what they need.
It's not over until the fat lady sings, and maybe they're saving the best for last.
You're hoping?
Well, I'm hoping, because I haven't heard it yet.
And so in Brampton Centre, the candidates are running. The clock is ticking.
As that gentleman illustrated, it comes down often to the leader and who they feel they can trust.
It's very
Is it
true.
about trust, this election?
I believe so, and I believe that Tom O'Kerr is showing himself as the most trustworthy leader. I think a lot of the damage that's been done, a lot of the unaffordability of everything has been due to Liberal and Conservative policies. And the policies in the NDP platform are solidly in support of working families and Canadians across the country.
So Brampton's never elected an NDP federal representative. This could be
This could be it. This could be the time.
I never thought up to this time that I will not win it. I'm fighting to win it only. And the possibility is there, every possibility is there. We will win it.
For CPAC in Brampton Centre, I'm Jacqueline Mulcharik.